Welcome to Deep Heights. My name is Deborah. We're going to do a reading today and just kind of go ahead and get into it. Before I started and I was sitting here, I was hearing the lyrics to Roadhouse Blues. What's been on my mind, and it just had kind of come to me again, was from the Doors. He says the end is, he says the future is uncertain and the end is always near. And I think that's applicable here. I think that's, I never have a plan, I let the cards guide, but that's a tone. I hope you're well. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. It's kind of early. It's actually really early. It's like, oh, I need to do this. I won't do them if I don't feel compelled or called or guided. When I try to do them that way, they don't come out well. They feel forced. We can't force things to happen. Force energy. It's, oh, look at. I know there's some glare. So we have crown chakra. That's amusing. There is a virus. It's a virus of the mind. Fear is a virus. It blocks the mind. The crown chakra allows energy to descend and to ascend. The flow of energy. Your corona, your crown. It's purple. Card 7. Think of the 7th house. Balance and harmony. And Libra, we just had the full moon in Libra a few days ago. The 7 is also the chariot movement, victorious movement, but his mettle hasn't been tested yet in the chariot. He's guided. Crown chakra. Okay. I know if you've ever read Dune from Frank Herbert, all of his books are fantastic. One of the best books I've ever read by him was called The Heaven Makers, and these were brilliant. He was brilliant, Frank Herbert, and his understanding of human psychology and control of the mind and religion and politics is brilliant. It's definitely Dune. At least read Dune. But in Dune, he has some great lines that people talk about. Fear is the mind killer. Whenever he's going to go be tested from the Bene Gesserit, and he repeats that mantra to himself. That fear is the mind killer. That I will allow my fear to pass through me. We let it pass through us. And the crown chakra, when it's blocked, it's supposed to be the highest chakra, the one of enlightenment. And you're not free. You have no freedom if you have the blockages there. And it's certainly what's happening. What's always happening in the world. Blockages to that. Because you're always going to be faced with situations and circumstances where you're afraid. Because we don't know the future, and the end is always near. I told you it was important. Could go on, with this crown chakra, but I won't dwell on that. I want to get one more. And another one that I always think about from Dune is something inside of us sleeps, and the sleeper must awaken. The character, his father says that before they leave. I think before they go to Dune, to Arrakis, he was an emperor or a duke. Anyway, he says that the sleeper must awaken. And it's up to you to awaken, like a seed. What if the circumstances aren't conducive to awaken? Are they ever? I don't know. Anyway, okay. Sacral chakra. Sorry, I don't feel that. It goes with the crown chakra. So I don't feel those are right. The magic fell out on the top of a stack, and I'm going to go there. 31. Sometimes when these things happen and the cards flip over and you know they don't feel right or like distractions in life, it has to feel right, and you know it's right. And you won't know it's right until the moment, until it appears. Magic. Being in a state of communion with that, with yourself. There's a lot of magic in our world. Light and dark. Some of us don't want to see it or know it, and that's fine. You know, the beauty of this world is we have choice. I had a conversation with my mother recently, and she was talking about Emanuel Swedenborg, who she really likes and has studied extensively, how this reality is the middle, which is right, and I'll tell you why, you know. But you have the heavenly realms, and you have the hell realms, those realities, the heaven realities and the hell realities, and where we are is where the two meet. In this middle, we're in the middle. And if you think about Tolkien, you have Middle Earth. If you think about Midgard from the Norse, I guess, Odin, you know, they're in Midgard. We are Midgard, sorry, that this realm is Midgard, and it makes sense because we're the line where it meets, and it plays out here because, like the yin and yang symbol, there's a little bit of light in the dark, and there's a little bit of dark in the light, and then they meet in that line, and it's like we're the line. That's what it is, because it's always pushing and moving on each other, and that makes me think of the magician and the Thoth deck. You know, he's walking on a line, and he's looking at all these things around him, all the tools that he's got, and it's up to you to walk on that line in between, and because we are both good and evil within us, and it's never but a choice away to be one or the other, right? Kind of rambling. I've been on quarantine, so I've, you know, I don't know, I talk to myself all the time anyway. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have crown chakra. I want to, let's get some animal spirit guides. So we have the oyster and the starfish and the panther on the bottom of the deck. That evil that I was talking about, that's within us. You know, and the oyster is about creation. Something is created. And we have the starfish. The starfish reminds me always of fractal patterns, and I'm not an expert in those kinds of things at all, but just the pattern, the natural pattern that's on this card, the starfish, the water star. Stars are in the sky. This is also Venus with the five-pointed star. Here, you have the elements represented, but one of them is out. Earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, and you would have the circle to circle of the magician. But there's something in nature that is fragmented. And order, this is a card about order to me always. It has to unfold. Spirit unfolds in time. We are in time here. Our bodies are in time. Whatever is unfolding and you're creating, in your shell here is in time, through time. The Panther here is an underlying energy of repressed darkness. When you don't, this is the shadow, and the shadow can be of the mind or of the body, and it rears its head. You will meet what you don't face, and you will usually meet it as an evil. Some cards of water, subconscious. I feel something subdued here with these cards. We'll let them sit. I don't know. All right, I'm going to get the thought deck and talk about this crown chakra with this magic. There's also discernment here is important. I was thinking, those cards that flipped over in the deck initially, and I didn't want to take them because I don't feel like they belonged. And there are things that are happening in our world that you're presented with and that you are going to continue to be presented with that you're going to need to refuse to take because it's not right. You don't have to buy it just because they're selling it. You don't have to buy it just because they're selling it. Okay. Well, this is the Eight of Cups that's wanting to come out. Three of Swords on the bottom. I know I say often that it's a lonely road. It's a difficult road and it's painful, but you have to walk it. Sometimes you have to walk it in the dark when your heart's broken, when you're shattered. The Three of Swords talks about heartbreak. Swords are the mind. Crown chakra. This is about shattering the mind and the mind-body connection. Social distancing. Mind the gap. Wash your hands. Don't touch anyone. Eight of Cups. Emotional disappointment. Searching, looking. Eights are also the limoscate, getting stuck in circles. Pain. The three here. Saturn in Libra. Saturn loves Libra. Saturn loves and wants to be loved. But it's painful, it's hard, it's difficult. It's dark. This is Saturn in Pisces, the Eight of Cups. It would be Neptune, searching, looking for what's hidden. The depths, Neptune. These are darker waters. These aren't dirty water. This isn't dirty water. They're just dark. But you have to go from making a choice from the Seven of Cups to the Nine of Cups, which is happiness. From debauch to indolence to satisfaction. Like, I would rather walk alone. I would rather walk alone than have what you are offering, even though it hurts. The Eon below rebirth. This is truth, the revelation of truth, rebirth. Hearing the call from the heavens. This has come from the crown. And Rider-Waite, how you have the people waking up from their coffins and they're floating up, and you have the angel blowing the trumpet, the horn, the frequencies from the skies and the poles, What kind of frequency are you tuned into? It's magic. These are rituals. And it's important that we see them for what they are. Okay. I'm going to keep the Three of Swords out, actually, with the Eight of Cups, because they belong. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about this crown chakra. What do we need to know about this crown chakra? So we have the King of Discs, the Prince of Discs, and the Sun reversed. Sun is Trump 19. The King of Discs for me is someone who doesn't know how to connect to the earth. He doesn't know how to garden. The King of Discs is he's also a warrior. He's a gladiator in the arena. He's the warrior in the garden, not the gardener in the war. But there's a disconnect. It's very masculine energy. It reminds me always of the gladiator. Here we have Trump 19, which is the Sun reversed. False light. You can't grow. The crown is the seed. You can grow plants with grow lights, false light. You can manipulate nature, make it think that it's the light, but we know the difference in between what's grown by nature and what's grown. I want to say art, because that's a quote from Mark Twain that I always liked, about knowing the difference between a watermelon that's grown by art. Anyway. What is sustaining you? What's sustaining you? 19 I actually looked up because I was curious, and on the periodic table, 19 is potassium. Maybe that's important for someone. The element of potassium, which is K. Whatever that you've walked away from and that you're walking away from, here you're walking away from lies. It's burning you. You have too much. You don't have good soil and you don't have the good sun. You're not gonna grow. Because in this oyster, I think, is the star that's you, that this natural order, this beautiful. If you looked at those, like, I don't know what you call them because it's been a while since I've looked at them, but you can Google those images, those enhanced images of like little sea things. I don't know. They're beautiful in their order. They're Fibonacci sequence. The what do you call that? The number, the divine. Shit, I don't know. The divine numbers. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. This panther here. Could be a warning as well. You know, panther energy, like the panther spirit animal, they move alone. Actually, anyway, they move alone in the dark at night, and they are about psychic energies, about warnings. A siren. This is a siren warning you something dangerous is about to happen, and it's coming. Matter of fact, beneath that is the elephant. He carries the light in his trunk. It's hidden. He carries the light, and he's a force. And this needs to be you. You need to be this movement. You need to move somehow. Eight of Cups with the Three of Swords, and it's difficult, you know, because there's blockages there, sending blockages through frequencies to block your movement of the natural light that you carry within you. See that? They want that light that you carry. This is feminine energy. I've talked about before. I think about Mars when I see this little red dot, and we are in Aries season. As a matter of fact, today is April the 12th, my brother's birthday and Easter. Happy birthday, Booski. So, okay. Let's keep going. So we know we have the magic, and we know this is a ritual. This is a mass ritual. We have the Lovers reversed. Disconnect from spirit. Mutable air. Gemini. I'll find somewhere there's no glare. But there's always going to be glare. The Lovers card reversed here is a disconnect from spirit. So it's saying the crown chakra, your crown chakra needs to be open so you can have that connection with spirit through the mind. And something in the mind, we know something is being fractured. It's fractured, and you're gonna. It's like a need to retreat and have your shell to protect what you've got, what you worked so hard to create, this natural order, because you have created something with spirit that's natural through time in this reality, in this middle earth, if you will. And where you are is no longer safe. But that's none of us. Are we ever safe here? I don't know. So we have the Lover's card reversed. Sometimes when this card is reversed, it talks about a separation, because the Lover's card is about separatio, it's separation. Because it's you being united with spirit, with your guide, with your own self, with the imperial self, with your higher self, is the Lover's card. This isn't soulmate marriage with another person. This isn't having completed the alchemical process yourself. It's not always about a love partnership with another. It's about your connection with spirit, your own self, that process that's trying to happen here. And it can only happen if all of if you are completely aligned and balanced, harmony. The seventh house is the first house on the astrological wheel that takes you into the underworld, into the underground. You must be balanced before you take this journey. As a matter of fact, the Three of Swords is ruled by the Queen of Swords, who is also Libra. Balance and harmony, but she's victorious over it. She wins. She's able to cut away the false self. Sorry, I got lost there. What was I saying? Yes, before you take this journey, this emotional journey, through the underworld, the unseen, to Neptune, actually, because it would be Pisces. Saturn is about tests, lessons, hardship, difficulty. Saturn rules Capricorn, the sea goat. Capricorn's fine in the water, because it can be practical. You need to get practical somehow, because outside influences, there's bad light and bad soil. Oh, my foot's falling asleep. Usually I love this magic card because I think it's so beautiful, it's natural, but there's something unnatural about it here today. The quote, it's always a quote about something, but I read a few years ago and I really liked it, and it's from Sidney Shelton, I think, and he said that magic exists, but you have to be the magician. You have to make the magic happen. You have to do it, like I was saying, how the magician in the Thoth deck is on that line in between where the two meet. And he's able to walk it on his tiptoes, like the adjustment card. You're needing to adjust here. Adjustment is needed. Because you're being bombarded. If this is like you in the center, because we have the oyster, you know, this is your pearl, and all of these other circles that are surrounding it are what's being thrown at you. From all sides, you're being completely, it's like ambushed. Being ambushed in the night. And the panther is both predator, but he's also tells you that he's coming. You know he's coming. Okay. Let's talk about this magic, this warning here. Talk to us about this magic. So we have the Six of Swords. Something else comes with this card. Six of Swords is my unfoldment of spirit as well in the mind. But it's movement after a realization. We have okay. So we have the Princess of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Six of Discs. So you've got to find that inner freedom of will within you, that fire. You see that tiger there is like the panther. She's got hers under control. It's not attacking like this one. Because in the Seven of Cups, you get lost in here. You get lost in the depths of your emotions. It's mucky and sticky, and it's sticky mud that sticks to you and wants to hold you down and doesn't allow you to move up to that crown chakra or really let anything in, because anything that would come in here is going to be tainted. Because it's so much. The Seven of Cups is just all of these choices, all of these different options, temptations as well. This is about truth and freedom. The beauty of purity and virtue with yourself, of one's own self. The renewing fire. She's got the horns of the ram, the sun. Leading you to Six of Swords, the unfoldment of the cube. They want you on that social distancing square. But you must cross. You must make the cross. And it's painful. No cross, no crown. I did a reading on this already. This is back. It's always there. It's a theme. It's a theme. It's like all the swords are pointed at your heart, because they're going to know they know your weakness. You know your own weaknesses. They're going to present themselves to you as danger. You have to be able to recognize them. The beauty of human beings is that we're not like seeds or trees. We can move. We have movement. We can move. And that doesn't need to be physically. Maybe it's spiritually. Change your mind, like Bruce Lipton. You know, you change your mind. You're not even just Bruce Lipton. You change your makeup, your genes. You have control over that. Oh, I didn't see this. The wheel. And that's how fortune is. You don't see it. You don't see it. That's beautiful. This card here, you know, it's like the electricity, and this always makes me think of water, and water is a conductor of electricity, right? And it gets this wheel moving. And is this wheel metal or is it wood? You know, And what happens to those? What happens to metal, or it rusts with water? It oxidizes, right? And then wood, it can rot. But gold is the goal of turning lead into gold, right? All of the answers are there somewhere. You just have to, not the answers, but for whatever it is for you, you have to be Neo for your own life and break the code. The wheel is also a door. Like on a submarine or something, like, they show you to move the latch. It's in water. Something with water and electricity. Be careful. It's a card of Jupiter. The 10, and ending a cross in itself. The X. That makes me think, and I've been thinking a lot about how it said, in this sign you will conquer, and it's the cross and the crown. We have a crown chakra here, and we have the opening of the cross, the cross, the cross. Two ships, and the red crosses on them for coronavirus. Anyway, okay. I hope this is making sense. Let's get one more from the Thaltec, because I feel like it wants to continue to speak. This is definitely about finding your own will, though. Are you going to buy what they're selling? Because this is what they're selling: Sun reversed and King of Discs reversed. Retardation, stunted growth. And if you do grow, it's tainted. It's unnatural. Because there would be blockages. It's going to block you from connecting to spirit. Don't you understand what's happening? Don't you feel it? Don't you know it by now? Walk away from it. It hurts. This is fortitude. Three of Swords is also about fortitude and the strength of mind. It's going to cut. It's going to bleed. It's going to be black. That's the process. That's the natural order of things. It hurts. But you eventually emerge as something beautiful, magical, on your own, that you've created. You are the star. Crowley said every man and woman is a star. There are no rules. There are no guidelines. There's no manual for this. You have to go through it. 4 swords on the bottom of the deck. Jupiter and Libra. Walking that line. Jupiter and Libra. Luck. Okay. Let's get other. Okay. So we have the Princess of Discs. She's a creator. She's a master gardener. I think of her always. She loves the earth, to be outside in nature. She's out there with those trees. I always think of birch trees, because birch trees are the first trees that grow, like after a fire, after forest fires, they grow really quickly. It doesn't have to be, but she has that the yin yang symbol there in her shield. which is stone, it's wood, it's movement. Her shield, it moves because life is movement. It's a living. You are a living being. Everything, all of your cells are moving. Your energy around you, everything is movement and growth. She's in the light, but somehow she's created that light from within. She's looking down. She's focused on the task at hand. She's looking down at the earth, at nature. This is something about this is implying waiting and time and patience. Because this is Earth, she's the princess of discs, princess of Earth. She's also, the pages are considered messengers. The earth wants to speak to you, the ground, whatever you're doing, something there that you have messages from the earth. Listen. Nature doesn't speak in words. It speaks in symbols, the skies, the heavens. That's nature too. The universe, the stars. Okay. I had the Alice in Wonderland tarot out. I like this deck because it gives a different perspective. Okay. I want to ask about warnings because I feel like there's a warning. This deck has messages for us, things that we need to be aware of in our I want to say atmosphere, but I was looking for another word. Wherever you are in the center. You are the center of your own world. Excuse me. What messages do you have from Wonderland about warnings? The Tower reversed. The Eight of Wands. Okay. Saying about messages, about how to avoid disaster. Because the disaster that they're creating is unnatural. It's not in time. It's created. It's fabricated. What they're destroying, and it's not time. There's a time for things to be destroyed, and what's happening now is out of time. It's fabricated. It's false. It's black magic, disguised as white magic. It's impure. This is Mercury and Sagittarius. This is clear communication, pure, because Mercury and Sagittarius, Mercury and Jupiterian energy, when they get together, they're not talking bullshit. Okay, they are intelligent, they are educated, they are aligned, they are moving, they are virtuous and noble, and what they speak is truth, higher truths of the mind, of the heart, of the spirit. Quick. Just thinking about why I would see the scene from Lord of the Rings whenever they're there, and they're like, Legolas, what do your elf eyes see? And he's like, spies from Kremlin. And then they all try to hide because there's the birds. And birds are messengers from spirit, but everything can be manipulated because this existence, this reality, you have a choice. You've always got a choice. Are you going to be good, virtuous, or are you going to be evil? Are you going to work because you are working, make no doubt? Don't be deceived either by what could look good, by a savior from the sky. Okay. So the Tower reversed. Okay. What else may we know, please? You've stuck around this long. Thank you. Four of Cups. Two of Wands. Four of Cups energy to me is stability on your own. Like you're like, no, I don't really want to accept what you are offering. I'm good on my own. It's emotional stability. People always think that, like, the Four of Cups is bad, but fours are stability. It's a square. It's a foundation. It's the Emperor. And this is, with Cups, the emotions. Four of Water. I don't think the problem here for some of us, or some of you, or for you, is the ability to say no. You're waiting for something in a different way, because Four of Cups is, you're waiting for a sign. I was saying at the beginning that something needs to move. Song from Tom Petty, you know, the waiting is the hardest part. There's a song, Running to Stand Still, from U2. She's still here in the wind. What are you waiting for? You waiting for someone? You waiting for a sign from Spirit? It changes the Four of Cups here. Let it go. You need to let it go. You need to let something go. And that I was saying that they know, they've got your fucking number. They know where you're weak because you know where you're weak. And if it's all of the teachings of the Tao, it's about conquering yourself, knowing yourself, know thyself. Are you aware of all of your weaknesses, of all of the things about yourself? Are you in harmony with yourself? Are you open to that? Purple is red and blue. Red would be the will and blue is the emotions. Fire and water mixed together. The crown, balance. The art card, because she's mixing fire and water. No one gives you the crown but yourself. But it's a natural process. Can't be fabricated. Okay. What I'm saying is that it's good to know what's happening in the world and to recognize the lie. But the lies don't just come from outside, they also come from inside. Okay. Something else from this deck wants to speak. Just looking for 44. Just passed. Waiting for it. Waiting for the fours. 4 fours. 16. which is the Tower. Okay. What else have you to tell us? Four of Wands reversed, with the Four of Pentacles reversed. Same with waiting on those fours. Interesting, isn't it? So the Four of Wands reversed. The Four of Pentacles reversed. This is Capricorn, Sun in Capricorn, Four of Pentacles. Okay, let me just feel this. I have the Knight of Swords below that. Okay. This is an attack on your mind. This is an attack on your mind. The Knight of Swords. Movement. Because he's moving. He's free. He's moving. His mind is moving. He knows where he's going, and it's sudden. Whatever information that he's got has happened all of a sudden. Zoom, he's off. And he speaks his truth, and he fights for his truth. He has the white horse, purity. But he's the unicorn, you know. He's the exception. I watched this video, and I follow this guy on YouTube. He's really, he's from Norway. Yeah, and he said, but I just liked how he said it. He said that the natural state of man isn't freedom, unfortunately. And it isn't. We're just a slave race. All of us. Not even a slave race, a slave species. Okay. So the Four of Wands and the Four of Pentacles, both reversed. And the Four of Cups reversed. Four of Swords had shown itself before. Not reversed. So, care needs to be taken here in our actions, because everything is shaking, it's crumbling, it's rumbling from the depths, threatening. You know, the Tower is reversed here, saying that it's fabricated. Even though it's fabricated, it can still affect you, can affect your reality and your will. What helps give you strength? This is the card of power, and this is the card of completion. This is Sun in Capricorn, and this is Venus in Aries. Interestingly, what I think is interesting about these two cards that I think about and have considered in the past in the thought deck, the Four of Wands makes a circle, and the Four of Pentacles makes a square. It's about opposites, the yin and yang, being able to balance that and harmonize that on the middle. But you've got to walk in truth, because that's where it is. There's a little bit of lie in the truth, and a little bit of truth in the lie. Always. And you have to be able to discern that. And the only way you can do that is if you're harmonized and balanced. 7 is a number that doesn't go into anything, right? Isn't that pi? I wish I was more intelligent. Something about you that's unique, that doesn't go into anything evenly. It's uneven, it's odd. Quote Dune, walk without rhythm. Saying like the worm, you know, it comes up because it's got your fucking number. It knows it's predictable. It's saying be unpredictable with the walk without rhythm. You can't be predictable. But you also have to go in order somehow. Does that? Life is complex and complicated and contradictory. Walt Whitman. Do I contradict myself? Very well then. I'm large. I contain multitudes. These are outside threats, but they're false. Don't give in to them. Alright. This is a really long video. I'm going to go ahead and close with the sisters. On the bottom of the deck is intuition. Alright, sisters. I hope that I've been able to kind of piece this together well and not leave any gaps, but there's always going to be gaps, and that's up to you to fill them in because it's personal and it's mine, it's yours, and break the code. Make no mistake, you can. Alright, sisters, what advice have you got for us? So we have illumination. I really like this card. She says, I am sending you light even now. Shine on, beautiful ones. You're loved. Illumination. So interesting to me with the 19, with the sun reversed. The feminine light. The internal light. Because you know what this means to me is beyond what I can express. I don't know what it means to you. But on the bottom we have integrity. And that should mean everything to all of us. Integrity. Right action. Thinking of Thoth or Anubis, you know, when your actions are weighed in the afterlife, in the underworld. Your heart, what you do will be seen. This is this is illumination. But not in how you would think. You know, she's holding that heart there from her center, keeping an open heart that's love. Even if you thinking about forgiveness, forgiving yourself. I don't know why that's going there, but you know, when one hand is doing something, it's a distraction, while really what you need to be paying attention to is on the other hand. And I would think of the heart chakra, keeping an open heart, because if they block the mind, it blocks the heart and the body. You can only fracture the mind so much before the body breaks down, or you know, and vice versa. A broken body is a broken mind. A broken mind is a broken body. Cleansing, purity and sanity, sanitization. I hope that that you stay sane, or you get sane. Find it within. Find the strength. Run to stand still. I hope to see you again.